questions for Coach? Tim, right here on the front.
Steve, it just, at least from the outside, just didn't look like you ever got going offensively, maybe except for that last 3-minute run in the fourth quarter. What explains that in your mind? What happened offensively? Was just Cleveland getting a little more physical on everybody?
Yeah, their defense was great. I think they deserve a lot of credit for the way they played. They got into the passing lanes. They took our rhythm away. And then we've got to do a better job ourselves of trying to create that pace and rhythm. And, we'll look at the tape. We got to put our guys in a better position to get good looks. I thought, sometimes you get open shots that aren't rhythm shots. So, you're not flowing, you're not playing well, and you haven't created anything offensively. And then all of a sudden, you do get an open look, but you're not in the flow, in the groove. And I thought there was some of that tonight. So we've got to do a better job. And we'll, like I said, we'll watch the tape and figure it out.
Lowell Cohn, Santa Rosa Press Democrat. Steve, Stephen Curry had an unusual game for him tonight. Could you explain it all, what you understand about it, what happened and why?
It happens. I mean, it happens to everybody. Whether you're the MVP or a role player, sometimes the shots don't go in. Sometimes things don't go your way. So Steph will bounce back. He's a great player. We'll help him. We'll try to see if we can get him into a better groove, but he'll be fine.
Was it just that he was having an off night, or was it Cavaliers doing something to him?
It's always both.
Always both.
It's
okay.
always both. The defense has a big impact, and I thought their defense was very good. And then there's other stuff that you have to be able to do to combat that, and we didn't do that.
Scott.
Steph was good last game, but he's had a few off nights shooting the ball lately in the last, I think, 4 or 5 games. Is it just a bad trend at the wrong time, or are you seeing anything in particular going on with his shooting?
No, I'm not. I'm not seeing anything like that. I mean, the guy's been phenomenal in the playoffs, and so sometimes the ball doesn't bounce your way, doesn't go in. It's fine. You keep playing. I've seen it with everybody. I've seen it with Michael Jordan, Tim Duncan. I mean, it doesn't matter who you are. Nobody is immune from a tough night, and so Steph has been phenomenal throughout the playoffs. Doesn't mean he's going to, light it up every single night. So you chalk it up to a bad night, and you see what you can do to try to free him up and maybe get him some open looks.
Mark Schwartz, ESPN. Much was made of Kyrie Irving being out of the series. Matthew Dellavedova certainly doesn't have the pedigree Kyrie does. But in this game, he played a major role. Steph didn't hit a shot while he was guarding him, and some of the hustle plays. What kind of impact did you see from Dellavedova, and why do you think he was able to play such a role here?
Well, he's a good player. They won a couple games against Atlanta in the East Finals without Kyrie, so this was no surprise. This is what we expected. Tough game, great defensive teams. Both teams, I thought, defended like crazy out there. It was a grind-out, kind of old-school game, and that's the style that it's going to be. And when you get this deep in the playoffs, it's rarely a track meet.
Do you think there's an element that Dellavedova gives them that even a great player like Kyrie does not?
They're different, It's like anything else. You replace one guy with another. Everybody's a little different. You have strengths, weaknesses, whatever. So it's all part of it, and you just you adapt accordingly, and you move on.
Ramona, all the way in the back.
Hi, Steve. Ramona Shelburne, ESPN.com. You sound like you're in a patient mood, and I know this year sometimes you go back and forth between being patient and letting them have it when they need to. Why are you taking this tactic now?
How do you know I'm not just being patient with you? Maybe I did light into them in the locker room. Look, this is this is the finals. I mean, it's hard. It's supposed to be hard. It's we had a tough night, so you have to move on. You got to learn from it, and get better, and that's what we're going to do. We were in the same position against Memphis. Every series is a little different. It's you know, something you have to work through, look at matchups, look at things you have to adapt to and adjust to, and you've got to continually get better as you go, and that's our goal.
In the back under the camera.
Hey, Coach, Rick Tittle, 95-7 the game. Andrew Bogut, pretty much invisible offensively tonight, just a couple points. He only took one shot, missed it. And then down the stretch, was he benched because they weren't putting Mozgov in, or was it vice versa, or was it just he was cold and you weren't going to go to him?
Well, we went to our small group with about 3 minutes left in the game, or maybe it was more than that. And that group was the one that got us into overtime. And so once you get to overtime with a group that's clicking, you generally don't make a move. And so we just stayed with the group that was playing well.
Thank you, Coach.